Means we're live. Some Casual Takes, episode 80, hosted by your boy Stephen Pepper, here to casually talk sports. This episode is brought to you by no one. What's up, guys? I know I've been away for a little bit, but we're back here today with a Wednesday episode. Got some topics to talk about. Bucks Heat last night. I also want to critique my guy Anthony Davis. Jonathan Taylor, it was announced he has an injury on my Colts. And then I haven't talked about the Bills. I didn't get a chance since I didn't have a Monday show, but I want to talk about the Bills just slightly because, wow, do the Bills just make me mad. But I want to say this, though. First, before we get into the topics, I was watching the NBA last night, the final group play games of the in-season tournament. Now, I was skeptical about how the in-season tournament was going to work. I was like, are players going to care? Because I'm not a huge fan of regular season NBA, especially early in the season. Like when football season's going on, I don't care about regular season NBA at all, but especially when it's November, December, and we're kicking in gear to the latter half of the NFL season. College football, don't care. I don't care about Wizards, Hornets, don't care about Knicks, Bucks in November. But with this in-season tournament, I was like, okay, maybe this was designed to help people care more about the regular season, for the players to play more competitive basketball, playoff-like basketball in the regular season. Now, I got to see the ratings for the in-season tournament. I don't think have come out yet. But as far as someone who watches the games, I'm more likely to watch, just by a bit, more likely to watch in-season tournament games than normal regular season games. They've been interesting. These have been like the difference between a regular Wednesday regular season game between a Friday night, Tuesday night in-season tournament, regular season, both regular season games, they're different. They feel different. Maybe it's because the NBA is trying to shove it down our throat that this game's important. But the players, I feel like these games are tighter. They're more exciting. The players are hustling more, playing better defense. I think that this in-season tournament is showing positives. Now, I need to see the ratings. Are people caring about this regular season? But at least for me and the players, I think the players care about the in-season tournament. I don't know. Let me see what you guys think. Because I think the in-season tournament is not a bad idea. It's making people care more. Now, the incentives of the in-season tournament, how this deals with legacy and the trophy and the extra game and home court and point differential, we can figure that out like next season. But I think goal number one, the NBA is getting close to accomplishing that. It's like make players and fans care more about the regular season. Let's talk about an in-season tournament game. Bucks Heat. Let's talk about Bucks Heat. So the Milwaukee Bucks beat the Miami Heat 131-24 last night. Like I said, watch this game because I find these in-season tournament games a little fascinating. Can't lie. Courts suck. Jerseys suck. But as far as like competition, competitiveness, I think these games are all right. I'm a guy who points out problems no matter if a team's winning. I'll point out a problem no matter if a team is winning or losing, because at the end of the day, problems are problems. And on any given night, your problem can disrupt you winning and turn a win into a loss. A problem's a problem no matter if you're winning or losing. So the Milwaukee Bucks, they beat the Miami Heat to advance to 13-4, and they were 4-0 in the group play in these in-season tournament. So not a lot of people are picking at the Milwaukee Bucks' problems because of the record, but I am. This team doesn't play any defense. They don't play a lick of defense, especially on the perimeter. This is an issue. We have to talk about it. Don't care if they're 13-4. This is an issue. The Miami Heat had no business being in that game last night. Zero. No business. I don't care that it was in Miami, Heat culture, Spoelstra, Bam was still. Don't care. The Milwaukee Bucks were fully healthy. Clearly the better team going against a Heat squad without Jimmy Butler and Tyler Hero, their two best offensive players, and needed a fourth quarter comeback because the Bucks don't play defense. Kyle Lowry and Josh Richardson, they're fine, inefficient role players who average 8 points a game. The Milwaukee Bucks' perimeter defense is so bad that backcourt combined for 41 efficient points last night. That is embarrassing. No excuses. Lowry and Richardson, how do they go off for 41 points combined? No excuses. Again, I'll say this again. Said this a couple weeks ago. If you are a star guard and you have the Milwaukee Bucks coming up on your schedule, if you are a starting guard and you have the Milwaukee Bucks coming up on your schedule, call your mom and tell her to alert the entire family because you are going to be on possible career high watch. Because that's what it feels like. This isn't betting advice, but if you dabble in some gambling, bet the over on the starting shooting guard, starting point guard that plays the Milwaukee Bucks, because no one's going to guard him. Malik Beasley ain't. Sure as hell Chris Middleton not. We know Dame doesn't play defense. The Milwaukee Bucks, I feel like, became contenders the first year Giannis won an MVP in 2018, 2019. So here's their defensive rating starting in 2018. First, 9th, 14th, and 4th last year. What do you think they are this season? 21st. 21st this season. When the Bucks traded for Damian Lillard, their perimeter defense left Milwaukee. Now, it might be confusing to some people because the Bucks still have 5 defensive players. Giannis has a defensive player of the year. Brook Lopez was second in DPOY last year, a blocks leader. How are they this bad on defense? Maybe it's because those guys in the interior, their defensive impact was helped by the guys on the perimeter. Maybe it's because the perimeter defense of a Drew Holiday and their wing depth was better than their interior. The Bucks' defensive problems, the Bucks have been getting away with their defensive problems because Dame and Giannis have been so great, scoring 60 points combined in these last couple of games, 5 of their last 6. But when Dame and Giannis don't score for 60 plus, it's GG. The Bucks are going to lose. We saw it against Boston. You lock up Dame and Giannis for amount of time, you're going to build a lead. You are. Nothing's more embarrassing from the fact that they played the Washington Wizards. Dame, Giannis combined for 60. The game was still close. Brook Lopez is 35 years old. They needed a career high from Brook Lopez, been in this league for over a decade, 39 points, to beat a backcourt on the Wizards of Jordan Poole and Tyus Jones that combined for 48 points. I think the fix here for Milwaukee is you got to go trade for an Alex Caruso in a couple of weeks. I just think you do. Malik Beasley, he's a fine shooter, but I don't think Malik Beasley's done an excellent job shooting from behind the arc. But this man could not guard a player, even if that player was on crutches. I think the fix here is you get an Alex Caruso, and then boom, that's it. I think it's pretty simple. You just get a Caruso. You're still going to have some defensive issues, of course, but you're going to be much better off. You have a guy who can just focus all of his attention on guarding the best perimeter player, the best guard. He can go out there and, like, Jordan Poole's not going off for 30 if he's playing against Alex Caruso. Don't think so. He will if he's playing against Dame, Chris Middleton, Malik Beasley perimeter defense, but not if he's playing Alex Caruso. I'm a guy who likes pointing out problems even if a team is winning or losing, because as soon as that team starts to lose, it's going to be that problem that they had when they were winning. Might as well fix it now. It's not one of those, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It's broke. You've just been getting away with it. I know the Bucks are 13-4, and no one is talking about their problems right now because they're 13-4, because they swept the group stage. But Kyle Lowry and Josh Richardson averaged 8 points on the year. There's no way in hell that backcourt should have combined for 41 points. Go get Alex Caruso. All right. Bucks are still a good team because of Dame and Giannis. They'll combine for 60, but they barely win those games that combine for 60. Portland Trailblazers 26-point comeback. Squeaked out a win against the Wizards. I think 70 combined points when you include Kuzma and that Tyus Jones in Poole backcourt. That's unacceptable. That's why Boston's better. Okay, let me criticize my man Anthony Davis for a second. So, I want to say this first. I am a huge Anthony Davis fan. I've always come on this show and battle for Anthony Davis. For the last year, I've always said he's better than LeBron, when everyone else in America said that LeBron is still better. Kind of think different today. But back then, for last year, I've been vouching for Anthony Davis. As soon as he got traded to the Lakers, bought his jersey. I love Anthony Davis. I'm one of his biggest fans. I think he Anthony Davis is so underappreciated. He's overhated with the street clothes and the blah, blah, and the blah. I give Anthony Davis always credit where credit's due. So when I criticize Anthony Davis, this isn't me being an Anthony Davis hater. This is me being real because I'm a huge Anthony Davis fan. And I always say that when Anthony Davis is on, you cannot name me 5 better players on the planet better than Anthony Davis. And that includes Joel Embiid. I think Anthony Davis, when he's on, is better than Joel Embiid. But the key is when Anthony Davis is on. Because the problem is, I don't know when he's going to be on. He's super inconsistent. I'll have 30 and 12 one night, and then 9 and 9 the next. So I've noticed in the start of this young season that Anthony Davis has been badly outplayed every time he's matched up against an opposing All-NBA bigs. Sabonis, Embiid, Bam, Jokic. So Embiid, let me pull these stats up for you guys. Pull them all up. It's going to take some time because the internet sucks. He's played Embiid, Jokic, Bam, and Sabonis. Let's compare Anthony Davis's performances against these bigs. Against Embiid, Lakers lost by 44. Holy shit. Anthony Davis, 17 points, 11 rebounds. That's a decent stat line. It's not horrible. But when you compare it to the fact that Joel Embiid had 30-point triple-double, he had a triple-double in 3 quarters. That was on Anthony Davis's watch. Against Sabonis had 29 and 16. Oh, I wonder what Anthony Davis had. 9 and 9. He made 3 field goals. Okay, you're playing Bam Adebayo. You're better than Bam. You don't belong in Sabonis Bam conversations. You belong in Embiid and Jokic conversations. Because like I said, there's not 5 better basketball players in the world to me when you're on. Bam Adebayo, 22 and 19. Lakers lost by 1 point. Anthony Davis, 9 points again. 9 and 6. Okay, then what about against Jokic? Now, we saw how he played against Jokic in the Western Conference Finals. Anthony Davis, your time to redeem yourself. Jokic, 29-point triple-double. Anthony Davis, 17 and 8. Oh, my God. I'm a huge Anthony Davis fan, but this just pisses me off. Anthony Davis, the way the Lakers are constructed, shooting-wise, and especially with these perimeter defense injuries, Anthony Davis has to be minimum 30 and 12 for the Lakers to beat a legit team. No excuses. That's just the way it is. To be the real team, Anthony Davis has to be at minimum 30 and 12. No excuses. This inconsistency of Anthony Davis, this inability to play up to your competition is going to be a problem for the Lakers because many of these teams that are in the Lakers' path for contention have these all-NBA level bigs. We saw in the Western Conference Finals, the Lakers ran into Jokic. They're the defending champs. Bam Adebayo's on a reigning Eastern Conference champ. Sabonis, that's a team that the Lakers could see in the playoffs. Sabonis is one of the best teams in the Western Conference. And Embiid, that's a team the Lakers could see in the finals. That's Anthony Davis's comp. Now, we saw Anthony Davis against the Cavs, who I think is one of the premier teams of the Eastern Conference. He had a 30 and 10 game. But they don't have an all-NBA level big, in my opinion. Mobley's not really there yet. We'll take that, though. That's just like, but the Lakers won that game because Anthony Davis was 30 and 12. We'll take that. But against these real teams with real all-NBA bigs, Anthony Davis doesn't look like he belongs, which he should belong because he's that talented. But when he plays these all-NBA level bigs, he gets outplayed every single time. It's cool that Anthony Davis can score 38 and 10 against the Trailblazers, the Jazz, the Grizzlies. It's cool, dude. It's cool. But what about when you're playing all NBA level bigs on real teams like the Sixers, the Nuggets? We need you to be 30 and 12 or the Lakers stand no chance because the Lakers can't hit threes and guard the three on a consistent basis, and they have some injuries. And LeBron's 40. You need to be 30 and 12. No excuses. Sorry. And if you can't come with that, that's an issue. Like Paul Reed, who's a bum. No one owns a Paul Reed jersey. No one in the United States, outside of Paul Reed's family, owns his jersey. And he called you out, Anthony Davis. And I thought tonight, last night, you were going to stand on some business, bro, and put up one of them ones. Put up a classic performance on Joel Embiid. And it looked like it. It looked like it to start the game. I think he made a couple elbow jumpers, came out with a quick 10 points in the first quarter, something like that. Scored 17 the rest of the way. What the? And Embiid and Maxey outscored LeBron and AD in the first quarter. No, Embiid and Maxey outscored the entire Lakers in the first quarter. This is going to be a problem for the Lakers. If Anthony Davis doesn't stand his ground against these all-NBA level bigs, this is a problem for the Lakers. They paid you all that money to look like an all-NBA level big. And you do against the Blazers. You do against the Grizzlies. You do against the Jazz. But what about against real teams with real bigs? There should be no reason why Sabonis and Bam Adebayo outplay you. I can see Jokic outplaying you, but you shouldn't be that far off. Even if Sabonis does outplay you, you shouldn't be 9-9. It happens every single time. And I'm starting to notice. Okay, let's talk about Jonathan Taylor. This is some sad news that hit me when I was at the gym. I needed the fuel because those last set of preacher curls were really starting to hurt my biceps. And I get that notification that Jonathan Taylor was announced by The Athletic. Jim Irsay told The Athletic that Jonathan Taylor will undergo thumb surgery, silently multiple weeks. That gave me fuel to finish my preacher curls. But damn. damn. Now, we don't know what multiple weeks means. Could it be 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 5 weeks? Ooh, 5 weeks. Because he hasn't been put on IR yet. And if you know the rules about IR, by rule, if you're put on injury reserve, you got to be out at least 4 weeks. He hasn't been out there yet. But we don't know how long he's going to be out, which sucks because we're in a playoff run right now. We are. It's sad to see because these last couple of games, Jonathan Taylor has started to look like his old self. In 2021, he had an offensive player of the year caliber season. He was really good. Looked like one of the best running backs in football. Last year, I blame him mostly on injuries and offensive line struggles, and the team just sucked as to why Jonathan Taylor had a poor year. But most people didn't see that. I just saw him being unproductive, and everyone's like, oh, JT's washed. Don't pay him, this and that. But then this season, he missed the first 4 games. It didn't look, and then slowly started to come back to his own. Then these last 2 games against New England, touchdown, a lot of carries. And then on Sunday against the Buccaneers, he had 15 carries, not a whole lot, but 91 yards and 2 scores, starting to look like his old self. But now he's injured. We pay this guy for a reason. 3 years, $42 million to be the offensive leader of the team. He's the best player on this team, at least offensively. We paid him for that reason. It's still a good contract. Some people are eating up the contract today. I would still do it again because this is a 24-year-old running back with offensive player of the year potential. You pay him. It was a good deal. But now it sucks that they're out for a playoff push. Now we're going to Zach Moss, which I'm fine. If you were to tell me, if we were to have this conversation at the beginning of the year, when he missed those first 4 games and we didn't really know. We had a rookie quarterback who didn't play. We didn't really know what Zach Moss would look like. Beginning of the season, I just didn't think we had a run game, especially seeing what our offensive line was like last year. But now I'm confident in a run game to at least be really good to pick up some of the slack without Jonathan Taylor out for a playoff push because Zach Moss is really good. Zach Moss is going to be the bell cow going forward to close out majority of the season. We don't know how long without Jonathan Taylor, but we should feel comfortable because this is a guy who still to this day leads the team in rushing with 672 yards. He's got 5 touchdowns on the year and has a team high still 144 carries. He has the production to do so. I would still want to have Jonathan Taylor because that's just another weapon to have in the playoff push. Obviously, you'd still want Jonathan Taylor. but I still have confidence in our team because Zach Moss is a capable running back. Because, like I said, we're committed to the playoffs now. You guys know been my thoughts on the Colts all season. I said Indianapolis, guys, Steichen, Irsay, hey, let's just lose games. Richardson is out. Let's lose games. Get a good draft pick. But I know the NFL is not built that way. They don't tank in the NFL. So it's like, okay, I got to compromise. How about for fans and for players, we play these extremely tight games. Fans benefit, players benefit, but we lose all of them. So we get a good draft pick. But it's not like we went out sad. But since we started winning a lot of games, 6-5 today, we're pretty much playoff committed. We're playoff committed. We're the 7th seed. There's no going back. We kind of have to win now and get in the playoffs. But we have a pretty good schedule, even without Jonathan Taylor. This schedule for the Colts, this is you could get into the playoffs type schedule. Now, we'd like to have Jonathan Taylor during the stretch, but this is one of those, you could still get into the playoff type schedules because at Tennessee, Zach Moss put like 160 yards and 2 touchdowns on Tennessee last time he played them. Zach Moss, very familiar with Tennessee. At Cincinnati with no Burrow, hosting Kenny Pickett. At Desmond Ridder, hosting O'Connell. Now, Houston is going to be tough because that's a different Houston team that we saw in week 2. Houston's offensive line's better. Stroud's more comfortable in the NFL. Houston's going to be tough. But that stretch from Tennessee all the way to the Raiders got a bunch of teams that the Colts can win and make the playoffs. It's kind of up to Zach Moss and his backfield. I want to see how Zach Moss comes out against Tennessee. Does he put up those high carries, high touchdown, high yardage situations that he did earlier in the week? But if Zach Moss can come out, run really well, then I'm full confidence that the Colts, who are committed to the playoffs at this point in the season, could make it in. Okay. Let's talk about the Bills and get out of here. Couldn't talk about the Bills Monday because I didn't have a show, but I really want to talk about the Bills because I am a huge Josh Allen defender. I picked the Bills for like the last 3 years to win the AFC, ever since like 2020 when they broke out. Pretty much picked them to win the AFC every single year. I had them to win the Super Bowl last year. Like, I'm being serious. I'm a huge Josh Allen defender, huge Bills guy. When it comes to picking them and seeing this, oh my God. I can't defend this team anymore. I can't defend. Now I can defend the quarterback because he had a really good game, but I can't pick this team anymore. I can't pick this team anymore. The Buffalo Bills are 6-6 today. 6-6. This is just an unacceptable record with a healthy Josh Allen. Unacceptable record. It's the same thing with the Chargers. How are you 500 or below with one of the best quarterbacks in the league and they're healthy? That's unacceptable. No excuse. If you have a quarterback talent like that, you should be making the playoffs every single year. And the Eagles game is so unfortunate because this was supposed to be the ultimate we back game for the Buffalo Bills because they would have won that game, been 7-5. It would have been like the 7th seed, I believe, in the playoffs. We're taking my Colts. Hey, appreciate Bills for losing. Colts get a playoff spot. But they would have been the 7th seed. That would have been a confidence booster because the toughest part of their schedule is still approaching. But if you beat Philadelphia, you have confidence beating Kansas City, Dallas, whoever you play in the remainder of the season because Philadelphia's the best team in the league. That, especially in Philly. That's a week back game. And although I still don't think the Bills, even if they would have beat Philadelphia and snuck into the playoffs, I don't know if I would still consider them contenders because my thing with the Bills is this team makes too many mistakes, self-inflicted wounds, whether it's penalties or turnovers, which you saw against Philly, that this team could not make a playoff run. But in a single game, as we saw in Philadelphia, the Bills can be dangerous in a single game because if Josh Allen can keep it clean, the defense can have a good enough game. In a single playoff game, you don't want to see the Bills because they're still contenders at heart. But they lost. And now they're 6-6 outside looking in, which made me think about this. NFL team records in school grades are the same. If you want to get good grades in school, You don't even have to be a big test taker. All you have to do is make your layups. Go to class every day. Don't miss an easy homework assignment. Nail the open note checking quizzes. Nail them. The Buffalo Bills are 6-6 today. They're a bad student. They missed on all their layups. The Bills are a bad student. They're 6-6 today. Why? They missed on all their layups. They lost to the Broncos, the Jets, and McCorkle Jones. Unacceptable. Those are unacceptable losses. The Bills are the kid who lost points for not showing up to class, skipped on some easy homework assignments, and somehow failed an open note quiz. And so when they take the big exam, just like school, easy wins in the NFL add up. Easy points in school add up. And since they lost to Philadelphia, they don't have easy wins to fall back on. And since they failed the test, they don't have easy points to fall back on. If the Bills just won the easy ones, they leave Philadelphia 9-3. The game still would have been heartbreaking either way. But the Bills would still be one of the better teams in the AFC, and hey, you're looking at a Super Bowl push at 9-3. But they're 6-10 at the 10th seed outside looking in because they missed on all their layups. They're a bad student. School grades and NFL team records are exactly the same. Listen, I have never in my life been a consistently great test taker. Exams, no matter how hard your class schedule is, or no matter how hard an NFL team's strength of schedule is, there's always a way to get a good grade or to get a good record if you just hit the easy ones. Even if you're taking a hard class schedule, there's still going to be easy completion assignments, points for attending class, participation, open note, check-in assignments, group projects that you can cheat on. Get those points. Just like in the NFL. No matter if the Bills had one of the hardest schedules in the NFL, there were still easy games on the schedule. And if you just hit the layups, you can take a loss or 3 or 4, and you'll still be fine. I had a statistics class freshman year. I'm not a stats guy. That's a confusing language to me. It's not English. My professor, it was an 8:30 class. My professor, thick Indian accent, couldn't understand a word he said. I don't really remember anything from that class. It was hard. And I got C's on pretty much all my exams. But I finished the class with like an A-, B+. How? Because I never missed in a homework assignment. 100%, 100%, 100%. The easy, I never missed points for skipping class because, attendance is being taken. You get points for going to class. Those easy tests, those easy quizzes, group projects, did excellent on. The easy work, I just stacked up so many points. So when I got C's and B- and C+ on exams, I had points to fall back on, and I still finished the class with a B+. Like the Bills, they're 6-6, but they just now entered the hardest part of their schedule. If they were 9-3 today, they can finish the season 11 wins, go into the playoffs, and try to make a Super Bowl push, even going through that gauntlet at the end of the season. But since they missed the gimmies, Zach Wilson's coming in for Aaron Rodgers on Monday Night Football because of his Achilles. Russell Wilson, when the Broncos couldn't move the ball at all, despite starting the game at the 50-yard line every single possession until that late touchdown. And McCorkle Jones, they have no margin of error. The Bills can still make the playoffs, but they have to win out now. They have to win out. They gave himself no room to lose points. Just like a bad student who loses the points for attendance, doesn't nail the check-in quizzes, skips homework assignments, you have no room to be bad on tests. The Bills have no room to lose to the Chiefs. One more loss. Bills season is pretty much over. Now, I think you can be the 7th seed with 7 losses. But the Bills got to be perfect down the stretch. And I don't know if they can. I don't want this team to miss the playoffs because I think this team is much better to be in the playoffs than like Pittsburgh, Cleveland. I'm sorry for the Colts, but I'm sorry for my Colts. Although I'd want to see the Colts in the playoffs, as far as competitive for the rest of the league because we have no shot. The Bills would be better off being in the playoffs. They're probably not going to be in because their schedule's tough and they have no wins to fall back on. But that's the show today. Some Casual Takes, episode 80. I appreciate everyone for tuning in. Follow all social media. Some Casual Takes is the handle on everything. And until the next show, I'll see you.